but General Motors is definitely the main beneficiary of this deal. What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day. I have to say big thanks to everybody who's been supporting me on the channel. My last few videos have done phenomenal. We have been growing like I didn't even know was possible on YouTube for a small channel. So thank you so much. Keep hitting the like button. It really helps out the algorithm. And if you haven't already subbed, please feel free to do so. We are doing a giveaway once we get to 250 subscribers for an Amazon gift card. So the big news last night was Donald Trump exits the hospital. He is now back in the White House. And markets had reacted pretty positively to this pre-market, and now they have begun to cool off a little bit as you get back into the worries about coronavirus rebounding, cases going up, things closing back down potentially, who's going to win the election. And then on top of that, we still do not have any stimulus for the economy. The stimulus right now, I think, is the big question mark. The sooner and the bigger the stimulus package is, I think the markets are going to react very positively the larger the number it is. And the longer any stimulus talks get delayed or anything like that, you're going to see probably some really bad stagnation when it comes to the markets, or maybe even another 5 to 10% pullback. So that's it for the general market. Now we got to talk a little bit about Nikola Motors. And they have, like I've been saying, they have been kind of staying out of the press. They have been, definitely keeping it on the down low. They've been probably in discussion with General Motors at this point, trying to salvage what they can of this deal. And all these lawsuits keep piling on. And there have been a bunch of different firms basically reach out to shareholders who have lost anywhere from like $10,000 plus on, basically from the Nikola allegations that Hindenburg put out, where they rolled a truck down the hill, misleading investors and stuff like that. So these law firms have been reaching out, trying to compile a really big case against Nikola Motors. And it's unfortunate that, you had to have lost so much money. Like, if you lost $10,000 or $100,000 in this, I don't think the average Joe, anybody like me or you, had invested that much money in Nikola to where that's what we could have lost. So it's a little disappointing that we can't get in on some of the recourse and kind of recoup our losses. Obviously, if you did lose anything, it is a tax write-off, so that is a positive. But, the lawsuits continue to mount against Nikola Motors, and I think that's one big reason why they're staying quiet. They're letting the Department of Justice, the SEC, do the investigation, and who knows what they're going to find. The other thing that I continue to scratch my head on is some analysts keep coming out and basically saying, yeah, there's this massive upside. I saw an article yesterday that basically said Nikola Motors has 70% upside, and their target price was like $41. So I'm kind of scratching my head, and it's like, with everything going on, how is it valued right now? Like, they're putting it basically a value double, basically what it is now, and that's like a $20 billion valuation. So that is crazy to me, especially with the delay of Nikola World. Basically, the only thing that they're probably going to deliver before year end is 5 Nikola Tres that they have partnered with in Invectico, or I'm not totally sure if I'm saying that right, but who they're essentially partnering with to build the Tre trucks initially and start testing and stuff. So that's really seems like the only thing they're going to produce at the end of the year. The GM deal is a massive question mark if that falls through. Even the analysts say that is bad news for Nikola Motors. And then another thing that it doesn't seem like there has been really any traction on yet is the hydrogen station deal, where Nikola Motors is trying to partner with someone to help them build strategic hydrogen stations around the United States in shipping routes and stuff like that people drive every single day. So it doesn't seem like there is any movement on that either. It's been completely ghosted, lots of question marks. So for analysts to be coming out and saying, 70% upside on the stock right now after it has run up basically, 35% in the past few sessions, big question marks. I don't think that it's really going to outpace and hit 40. Let's put it this way. The only way I see them climbing back to the levels that they were at maybe right around when they announced the GM partnership, and then before Hindenburg news came out, is I think that they really have to, double down on their agreement with General Motors. General Motors has to come out in full support. And, if you see General Motors taking more of the deal, bigger stake than 11% in Nikola, I see that as, an inevitable thing if they're going to do any sort of deal. But I definitely think that if if they do still come to terms with a deal, the stock will react positively. Don't know if it's going to rally back as hard as 70%. That seems like such a massive gain for me, especially because really the deal, when you think about it, is one-sided. The only thing Nikola is getting, well, I shouldn't say the only thing they're getting a lot of tech that GM has built and a lot of the infrastructure and manufacturing capabilities, which obviously Nikola does not have, so they need that. So that is one benefit that they're getting. They're getting to use General Motors battery, their autonomous stuff and whatnot like that. But General Motors is definitely the main beneficiary of this deal. Like, when they come to terms with the deal, I think they will still do the deal, just because the relationship at the executive level is kind of, I mean, it's definitely there. Like, all the execs who are at Nikola, and I shouldn't say all, but a lot of the execs that are at Nikola came from GM. They're all ex, General Motors people, whether it's VP, executive, board level, whatever. So they definitely have that relationship. So I still think that they're going to eventually come to a deal, but General Motors is going to take a much larger slice of the pie than 11%. That's my prediction. I could see it being 15%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you talk percentage points in a company and, overall, shareholders and stakehold of a company, 4% increase is quite a bit. I mean, that's a pretty substantial increase. When you're looking at it in percentage gains, that's like 25, 30% more than what they were originally getting. So I definitely still see them coming to a deal. The length and the terms of the deal, not totally sure on. We're going to have to wait to see. I do think the stock may react positive to a deal and announcement coming out in the short term, but still, I'm not even considering touching this stock. Way too many questions than answers at this point. They have to prove that they are going to do something rather than just run their mouth and cancel events and stuff like that. The fact that you're not getting Nikola World and you're probably not going to get to see the Badger before year end, and to me, there's way too many negatives about the stock right now to be excited. So that is it for our update. I mean, it's kind of depressing when the only things that they're posting on Instagram is their new hires. Like, I'm glad that you're hiring, but like, no one cares about the new hires. They want to see the products. And if that's all you're advertising, then you're essentially creating a view that what are you really doing? Lots of question marks. So just something to think about. Definitely, I'm recommending you sit on the sidelines and hold some cash, because the market, until we get stimulus, is really going to, I think, stagnate or even more pull back 5 to 10% to where you can get in on some stocks. And you already see it. You already see some money coming out of big tech and rolling into blue chips or some other cyclical stocks that have been beaten down because of the coronavirus, that are still down, 50% from their all-time highs. So people are definitely moving the money out of big tech right now, which is going to probably create some buying opportunities in the near future. So before we go, today in history, another baseball one, because we are in the playoffs. Billy the GOAT cursed the Cubs. So if you know anything about the Cubs, they have had an ugly postseason history. It wasn't until 2016 that they won the World Series and ended the drought over 100 years. So RIP to Billy the GOAT. Poor guy. Really messed up the Cubs. Luckily, being a Yankees fan, don't have that problem. Hopefully we make it to the World Series, knock on wood. That would be awesome. Dodgers-Yankees World Series would be pretty awesome. So guys, I hope you have stuck around to the end of the video. If you have, thank you so much. Please drop a like if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow.